You are in a meeting, and in that moment, you have a real opinion, a good one. You know exactly what you would say in your first language, but in English, the words feel too sharp, too blunt, too risky, and your real opinion disappears.
And the worst part is, you know you are doing it. You can feel the gap between what you think and what you say. That gap is frustrating. And over time, it makes you feel like you are less interesting in English than you are in your first language. You are not. You just need the right phrases.
Yeah, because expressing opinions is a skill, and it has its own vocabulary today. We are giving you that vocabulary.
Hey everyone, welcome back to English with a little more energy. I am Leo.
And I am Maya.
Last week we talked about how to tell a story in English. Today, we are tackling the moment right after the story ends when someone asks you what you think. Because sharing your opinion is where real connection happens, and it is where most learners go silent.
So today we are breaking down how to express opinions in English. The softening phrases, the strong phrases, the agreeing and disagreeing, and the mistakes to avoid. By the end, you will never have to default to I do not know again.
Let us start with why this is so hard. Most learners think the problem is vocabulary, that they do not have the right words. But that is rarely the real issue. The real issue is tone. In your first language, you know instinctively how to soften a strong opinion, how to sharpen a vague one, how to disagree without insulting. In English, you do not have that instinct yet. So everything comes out either too blunt or too hedge.
Exactly. And this creates a double trap. If you translate directly from your first language, you might sound aggressive without meaning to. A phrase that is perfectly polite in Spanish or German or Japanese can land as rude in English. So you overcorrect. You start hedging everything, adding maybe and I do not know, and just my opinion, until your actual point disappears entirely.
The result is that learners either come across as harsh or as wishy-washy. Neither one is you. The real you is somewhere in the middle, confident enough to share a real opinion, polite enough not to steamroll anyone. Finding that middle is what today's episode is about.
But here is also a cultural piece here. In some cultures, expressing strong opinions directly is normal and expected. In others, it is considered rude, and opinions are always wrapped in layers of politeness. English-speaking cultures are somewhere in the middle, but they lean toward directness with a layer of softening. You are expected to have an opinion, but you are also expected to deliver it gently.
That is a really important point. In English, not having an opinion can actually be more awkward than having a strong one. If someone asks what you think and you say, I do not know, I have not really thought about it, the conversation stalls. They were inviting you in, and you declined. Whereas if you say honestly, I am not a fan, but I see the appeal, that is a real opinion, gently delivered, and the conversation can go somewhere.
Let us do a quick example. Flat version that is not an opinion, that is a wall. Better version that is an opinion. It has a position. It has a reason, and it is delivered without aggression.
Notice what Maya did. 3 moves. Knock knowledge, pivot, specify. That is the basic structure of a polite opinion in English.
The key insight from this segment is this: expressing opinions in English is not about having better words. It is about having a structure that lets you be both honest and polite. Once you know the structure, you can plug in any opinion, strong or mild, and it will land the way you want it to.
So before we get into the specific phrases, ask yourself one question next time someone asks what you think. Am I about to share a real opinion, or am I about to hide behind it is fine? If it is the second, pause and try again. Your real opinion matters. And today, we are going to give you the tools to share it.
Quick recap: opinions are hard in a second language because of tone, not vocabulary. Learners either sound too blunt or too vague. English speaking cultures expect opinions but expect them softened. And the basic structure of a polite opinion is acknowledge, pivot, specify. Master that, and you are halfway there.
Now let us talk about softening phrases. These are the words and structures that let you share a strong opinion without sounding aggressive. They are not about weakening your point. They are about delivering it in a way that makes people want to listen instead of getting defensive.
It is so common that native speakers use it almost reflexively. It is a tiny phrase, but it does a lot of work. It signals that this is your perspective, not a universal truth, which makes it easier for others to disagree without feeling attacked.
I think is good, but it can get repetitive. Here are some alternatives that do the same job with slightly different shades. I would say is a bit more confident. To my mind, is slightly formal. Good for professional settings. The way I see it is conversational and invites dialogue.
If you ask me, is a great one for casual settings. It is a bit more opinionated and a bit more fun. From what I can tell is good when you are not 100% sure but you still have a perspective.
But be careful with this one. I just think can sound apologetic if overused. Used sparingly, it takes the edge off. That just makes it sound like a gentle suggestion rather than a demand. But if you start every sentence with, I just think, you start sounding unsure of yourself.
Deet here is also the technique of framing your opinion as a question. It invites the other person to engage rather than telling them what to do. This is especially useful in professional settings where you do not want to seem like you are giving orders.
Let us role play this. Maya, give me a strong opinion without softening, then with softening.
Okay, blunt version. That is a strong opinion, but it is aggressive. It might make people defensive.
Now the softened version.
Honestly, I have some concerns about the new policy. Same opinion, completely different energy. The honestly signals authenticity. The some concerns softens the blow. The I think makes it personal. The might leaves room for uncertainty. And the specific detail, the rollout timeline, makes it constructive instead of just critical.
And there you go. Maya did not weaken her opinion. She actually made it more useful by adding a specific reason, but she delivered it in a way that invites discussion instead of starting a fight. That is the art of softening.
One mistake to avoid: do not over soften. If you pile on too many hedging words, I just maybe think it might possibly be a little bit problematic. You sound like you have no confidence in your own opinion. One or two softeners is polite. Five is insecure. Pick one or two and commit.
Another mistake. Do not soften and then take it back. That ending, maybe I am wrong? What do you think? Undermines everything you just said. Share your opinion, then stop. Let others respond. You do not need to pre-apologize for having a perspective.
So, to recap the segment, softening phrases let you share strong opinions politely. Use I think I would say the way I see it, and if you ask me to frame opinions as perspectives. Use just sparingly to take the edge off. Frame opinions as questions when you want to invite dialogue. But do not over soften and do not undermine yourself by taking it back. One or two softeners, then commit.
Now let us talk about the opposite. Sometimes you do not want to soften. Sometimes you want to be clear, direct, and unambiguous. Maybe it is a decision that needs to be made. Maybe someone is spreading misinformation and you need to correct them. Maybe you just feel strongly and you want people to know. In those moments, softening phrases actually work against you.
Strong opinion phrases signal confidence. The key is that strong does not mean aggressive. You can be direct without being rude. The difference is in the structure, not the volume.
I strongly believe is a classic. Strong phrase. It signals conviction without hostility. I am convinced is similar. It shows that you have weighed the options and landed somewhere definitive.
In my opinion, can go either way, but when you put it at the start of a sentence with a clear statement, it is strong. It is polite but firm. To be honest is another one that adds weight. The to be honest signals that you are about to say something real, even if it is uncomfortable.
The truth is even stronger. It suggests you are cutting through the noise. That phrase commands attention. Use it sparingly because it loses power if you say it about everything.
I am going to have to disagree is a strong phrase for direct disagreement. The going to have to makes it sound reluctant, which softens the blow, but the disagree is unmistakable. It is perfect for moments when you need to push back, but do not want to start a fight.
Let us role play this. Maya, give me a situation where a strong opinion is needed.
Okay, imagine we are in a meeting and someone just proposed a plan that you think is genuinely risky, not just suboptimal risky. Soft version would be too weak here. You need to be clear.
That is fine, but it does not convey the severity. Now the strong version.
I am going to be direct here. I think this plan has serious risks, and I cannot support it as it stands. The timeline is unrealistic, and if we miss the deadline, we lose the client.
And there it is. Maya used I am going to be direct as a signal that something strong is coming. That is a strong opinion, constructively delivered.
The key with strong phrases is that they should be earned. If you use I strongly believe about everything, it loses its power. Save the strong phrases for when you actually feel strongly. For everyday opinions, stick to the softer ones. That way, when you do use a strong phrase, people know to pay attention.
One mistake learners make is going straight to strong phrases because they think it sounds more confident. But confidence is not about being forceful. It is about being clear. A softly delivered, clear opinion is more confident than a loudly delivered, vague one. Strong phrases are a tool, not a default.
Another tip, when you use a strong phrase, back it up with a reason. The because is what makes your opinion useful instead of just loud opinions. Without reasons are just assertions. Opinions with reasons are contributions.
So to recap this segment, strong phrases signal conviction without aggression. Use I strongly believe, I am convinced, to be honest, and the truth is for moments that need clarity, use. I am going to have to disagree for direct pushback. Save strong phrases for when you actually feel strongly and always back them up with a reason. Strong opinions with reasons are contributions. Strong opinions without reasons are contributions. Strong opinions without reasons are. Now we get to the part that scares most learners. Disagreeing, because disagreeing in a second language feels risky. You do not want to be rude. You do not want to start a fight. And you definitely do not want to damage the relationship over a difference of opinion. But avoiding disagreement entirely means you never have a real conversation. Today, we are going to teach you how to disagree well.
Let us start with agreeing because it is easier and it sets up the structure. Fine, but it does not add anything. The better way is to agree and extend. Agreeing with an extension shows that you are not just nodding, you are engaging with the idea.
That is a good point. Is a great agreeing phrase. It acknowledges the other person's contribution and then builds on it. I am with you on. That is more casual. It signals alignment without repeating their point.
I could not agree more is strong agreement. Use it when you really mean it. I was just about to say that is a nice one because it suggests you and the other person are on the same wavelength. It is a small compliment wrapped in agreement.
Now, disagreeing. The golden rule of disagreeing in English is to acknowledge before you push back. Never start with but or no without first showing that you heard the other person. Is the classic structure. The acknowledgement makes the disagreement feel like a conversation, not an attack.
I am not sure I agree is a gentle disagreement. The not sure softens it. I see where you are coming from, but I have a different take, is a bit more direct, but still polite. Is good when you want to challenge without being confrontational.
I hear you, but is a powerful phrase. The I hear you shows that you listened, and the but signals that you have a different view that is a respectful disagreement that keeps the door open for dialogue.
Let us roleplay this. Leo, give me an opinion, and I will disagree gracefully.
I think remote work is overrated. People are less productive at home, and we lose the creative energy of being in the same room.
I see what you mean, and I think that is true for some people, but I would push back a little. From what I have seen, productivity depends more on the person and the role than on the location. And for creative work, a lot of teams have found that async collaboration actually works better than constant in person meetings.
And that is a beautiful disagreement. And she backed it up with a specific reason and example. The whole thing feels like a conversation, not a conflict.
It frames your disagreement as a question rather than a statement. It is gentle, but it plants a seed of doubt. The other person can engage with it without feeling attacked.
Another technique is to disagree with the idea, not the person. I am not sure about that approach is about the approach. You are wrong is about the person. The first one keeps the conversation open. The second one ends it. Always disagree with the idea.
And when someone disagrees with you, do not get defensive. That is a good pushback, or I had not thought of that, shows that you can take disagreement as well as you can give it. That is what makes conversations feel safe for everyone.
So to recap this segment, use that is a good point, and I am with you on that to agree and build. For disagreeing, always acknowledge first. I see what you mean, but it's the golden structure. Use I am not sure, I agree for gentle disagreement, and I hear you, but for direct disagreement. Disagree with the idea, not the person. And when someone disagrees with you, receive it gracefully. Now let us talk about the hardest part. Sensitive topics. Politics, religion, money, personal choices. In many English-speaking cultures, these are traditionally avoided in casual conversation, but sometimes they come up, and sometimes you want to engage. The question is how to do it without everything blowing up.
The first rule of sensitive topics is to ask yourself whether it is worth it. Not every conversation needs to be a debate. If it is a casual setting and the topic is sensitive, it is okay to stay surface level. That is a big topic, or I have mixed feelings about that. Acknowledges the question without forcing you to take a strong position.
But if you do want to engage, the key is to frame your opinion as personal, not universal. In my experience, is a great phrase here. It makes clear that you are sharing your perspective, not declaring a truth. People can disagree with your experience, but they cannot deny it.
I have found that is similar. It is personal, specific, and non-confrontational. For me personally is another good one. It signals that this is your perspective, not a judgment of others.
When you are entering a sensitive topic, it helps to signal that you know it is sensitive. These openings show self-awareness.
Another technique is to ask questions instead of making statements. Invites the other person to share. First, once you hear their perspective, you can calibrate your response. You might find common ground, or you might decide to share a gentle version of your opinion.
Let us role-play this. Maya, imagine we are at a dinner party and someone brings up a topic you have strong feelings about.
So, Leo, what do you think about the new housing policy in the city?
Oh, that is a big one. I know people have really different views on it. Can I ask where you land before I share my take?
Yeah, sure. I am honestly torn. I get the argument for more development, but I also worry about what it does to existing communities. What about you?
I lean toward more development. But I hear what you are saying about communities. For me, it comes down to whether the policy includes protections for the people who are already there.
And that is a really graceful exchange on a sensitive topic. He asked to hear my perspective first, which let him calibrate. He also found common ground by acknowledging my concern.
One thing to avoid. Do not tell someone they are wrong about their own experience. That is invalidating. You can disagree with opinions, but you cannot disagree with someone is lived experience.
Another tip, know when to exit. If a conversation is getting heated and you do not want to engage, it is okay to gracefully bow out. That is a clean exit that respects both of you.
And if someone says something genuinely offensive, you can address it directly but calmly. These phrases push back without escalating. They name the issue without attacking the person.
So, to recap this segment, ask yourself if a sensitive topic is worth engaging with. If yes, frame your opinion as personal, not universal. Use in my experience. And for me personally, to keep it non confrontational. Signal that you know the topic is sensitive. Ask questions before making statements. Never invalidate someone is lived experience. Know when to exit gracefully and address offensive statements calmly and directly.
Now let us get into the mistakes. Because even with all the right phrases, there are classic traps that learners fall into. We are going to name them so you can catch yourself.
Mistake number 1. The apology opener. These openers undermine you before you have even shared your opinion. You are apologizing for having a perspective. Stop it. Your opinion is not a burden. Share it without the apology.
The fix is to just start. Is a complete opening. No apology needed, but never apologize for having a voice.
Mistake number 2. The overhedge, that is 6 hedges in one sentence by the end. Nobody knows what you actually think, including you. 1 hedge is polite, 6 is insecurity.
The fix is to pick one softener and commit. That is one softener, might, and it is enough. The opinion is clear, the tone is gentle, and you sound like a person with a perspective, not a person who is afraid to have one.
Mistake number 3. The agreement that is not someone says something you disagree with and you say, yeah, totally, because you do not know how to disagree. Then you spend the rest of the conversation feeling like a fraud. The other person thinks you are on their side, and when the truth comes out later, it is awkward.
The fix is to practice the graceful disagreement structure. It takes 5 seconds to learn and a lifetime to master, but it is worth it. Better to disagree politely in the moment than to agree falsely and resent it later.
Mistake number 4. The monologue. Someone asks for your opinion, and you give a 5-minute speech that covers every angle and addresses every possible counterargument. By the end, nobody remembers what you actually think. You have buried your opinion under a mountain of qualifications.
The fix is to be concise. State your opinion. Give one reason. Stop. Done. If people want more, they will ask. Adding more detail does not make your opinion stronger. It makes it harder to find.
Mistake number 5. Getting defensive when challenged. Someone pushes back on your opinion, and instead of engaging with their point, you restate your opinion more loudly. That is not a conversation. That is a standoff. And it makes people stop sharing their honest reactions with you.
The fix is to receive pushback with curiosity. These responses show that you are confident enough to engage with disagreement. Ironically, taking pushback well makes your original opinion seem stronger, not weaker.
Mistake number 6. Treating every opinion like a debate to win. Some conversations are about exchanging perspectives, not about proving who is right. If you approach every opinion exchange as a competition, people will stop sharing with you. They do not want to be debated, they want to be heard.
The fix is to approach opinions as offerings, not arguments. Here is how I see it is an offering. Here is why you are wrong is an argument. Both can be valid in different contexts, but most conversations call for the first one. Save the debate energy for actual debates.
So, to recap this segment, do not apologize for having an opinion. Do not overhedge. Do not falsely agree. Do not monologue. Do not get defensive when challenged. And do not treat every conversation like a debate to win. Avoid these and your opinions will be welcomed, not dreaded.
Now we are going to put everything together. A full group discussion from start to finish, using every technique we have covered. Softening phrases, strong phrases, agreeing, disagreeing, navigating a sensitive topic. Listen for how it all fits together.
I will start. Imagine we are 3 coworkers having lunch, and the topic of returning to the office comes up. I will be Maya, Leo will be Leo, and we will bring in a third voice. Sam, who is a bit more traditional.
So, the company just announced the new return to office policy, 3 days a week, mandatory. What do you guys think?
Honestly, I have mixed feelings. I get why they are doing it, but I am not sure it is the right call. The way I see it, we have been productive at home, and forcing people back might do more harm than good.
I see what you mean, and I partly agree. But I wonder if T here is something to the collaboration argument. I have noticed that some of our best ideas have come from casual, in-person conversations, not scheduled Zoom calls.
That is a fair point. I definitely miss the spontaneous stuff, but I would push back a little on the idea that you need 3 days a week for that. Even 1 or 2 days might be enough for the creative stuff without the commute burnout.
Sam, you have been quiet. What is your take?
Sam here. I am going to be honest. I actually prefer being in the office. I live in a small apartment, and working from home has been tough for my focus. I know I am probably in the minority, but I am looking forward to having a proper workspace again.
That is a really valid perspective, and I think it gets missed in this debate. Not everyone has a great home setup. I am curious, do you think 3 days is the right number? Burrell, would you want more?
Sam again, honestly, I would be fine with 4 or 5, but I know that is not realistic for everyone. I think 3 is a reasonable compromise, even if it is not my preference.
I appreciate you sharing that. Sam, I think that is an important piece of the puzzle that does not get talked about enough. The conversation is usually about productivity, but it should also about equity. Not everyone has the same environment at home.
That is a great point, Leo, and I think it actually changes my view a little. I was thinking about this from my own perspective, which is that I have a good home setup. But if we are making policy for everyone, we have to consider people in different situations. Maybe 3 days is not crazy.
So it sounds like we are actually converging. Maya, you are less opposed than you were. Sam, you would prefer more but accept 3 as a compromise. And I think the collaboration argument is real, but maybe does not require 5 days. Maybe 3 is the sweet spot, at least for now.
Yeah, I think I can live with that. Though I would want to revisit it in 6 months and see how it is actually working. I strongly believe that policy should be evaluated, not just set and forgotten.
Agreed. And I think that is a good note to end on. We did not all start in the same place, but we actually had a real conversation. And we all moved a little. That is what good opinion sharing looks like.
And there it is, the whole arc. Softening phrases, the route. Strong phrases, at key moments, graceful disagreement from everyone. A sensitive topic, navigated with respect. Personal framing, when experiences differed. And a genuine exchange that moved the conversation forward, instead of just trading positions.
If you want to practice, try having a conversation with a friend about a topic where you disagree. Use the structures we have covered. Acknowledge before you push back. Frame your opinion as personal and see if you can have a real exchange instead of a debate. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Okay, time for the recap. Here are 10 phrases from today's episode that you can start using right away to express opinions in English.
Number 1. A natural softener that frames your opinion as a perspective, works in any setting.
Number 2, quick and versatile.
Number 3. Great for casual settings, signals that you are about to share a real opinion.
Number 4, use when you need to be clear and direct. Save it for when you really mean it.
Number 5. Signals that you are about to say something real, even if it is uncomfortable.
Number 6. The golden structure for graceful disagreement. Always acknowledge first.
Number 7. Gentle disagreement that keeps the conversation open.
Number 8. Agreeing with extension shows you are engaging, not just nodding.
Number 9. Perfect for sensitive topics, frames your opinion as personal, not universal.
Number 10. Direct but polite. Use when you need to push back clearly.
Pick 2 or 3 of these to practice this week. Try them out in your next conversation. The more you use them, the more natural they will feel.
And remember, these phrases are tools, not a script. Do not try to use all 10 in one conversation. Pick the ones that fit the moment and let the conversation guide you. That is it for today's episode of English Sing. If you want more, hit subscribe so you do not miss next week's episode where we will be talking about how to disagree politely in English without losing friends or killing the conversation. Because expressing your own opinion is one thing, but pushing back on someone else without starting a fight, that is where most learners freeze.
And if you want to practice what we covered today, try sharing one opinion in English that you have been holding back. Use one softening phrase, one strong phrase, and one graceful disagreement. That is your homework for the week. You will be amazed at how good it feels to actually say what you think.
Grab the free PDF in the description. It has all these phrases plus extra practice exercises. Print it out, stick it on your fridge, and review it before your next English conversation. It is completely free and it is there for you.
You can also find us on Instagram and YouTube, where we post extra tips and mini lessons every week. Drop a comment with a topic you have always wanted to share your opinion on but held back. We read every single one, and we might even feature yours in a future episode.
And remember, your opinions matter. They make conversations interesting. They make relationships real. They make you, you. Practice the phrases. Find your voice and let people hear what you actually think. See you next time.
See you next time. This has been English Zing. Keep talking.